So we're standing in Orest village. It's stunning, picturesque, and this is a channel about politics, but it's very easy to forget all about that. And as we've just done, had a nice snooze with the country air. How often do you come down here?
On a weekly basis, I would say, because this is only half an hour drive outside Lviv, so it's an easy ride and a good hideaway place from the city bustle.
And yeah, I mean, at the moment, there's a degree of stress, isn't it? I mean, Lviv is bustling and beautiful, but it must be nice coming out here and just unwinding a bit.
Absolutely, like you can see, like there's a garden over there, and there's like a more newer house, and this was completely like a Polish village. So our neighbors is one of the 4 Polish families that remain here, but then people were sent to Poland, and Ukrainians from Poland were sent to Soviet Union. And my family of my grandfather, they settled into this house, which was probably some Polish family were living here before. I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, but basically you see it's very rustic and so on.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah. And there we have a solar panel.
So high tech.
By the way, just a month ago, unfortunately, a goose that was living here died, and she outlived every member on this small estate. She died when she was 39 years old,
Wow.
being the oldest goose in Ukraine. Where you just had a nap, and this one is the house which is around 100 years old. Nobody lives there anymore. The last resident was my grandfather's sister. She died a couple of years ago, unfortunately, because of the age. And yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to make a family museum, because it's it could serve the purpose, right, for that.
It is, it's beautiful, and even though they don't live here and perhaps it's a little cold in the winter, it still looks like a very comfortable building. And you've got this incredible stuff around the edge. You've got all the you got the sort of dried grass, you've got herbs hanging up. I mean, the smell must be fantastic.
Yes, it's very nice. Yeah.
Now, something as well. Let's unfortunately drag sort of politics into this, and I can't help comparing the impressions here. My first time in a Ukrainian village, and of course we drove for a good half hour out of the city, and I have to say we passed through a number of villages, and this one especially. Every single garden is neat. It's planted with flowers and crops. Everything's beautifully sort of symmetrical. You've got neat grass, paths. The roofs are in good order. Houses are painted and neat. I don't want to be completely rude about my experience of Russian villages, but I can say that this is not similar to any I've seen.
No, it's Ukrainians are, even if the family, for example, is not rich, they still try to be tidy. They make things organized around, then take care of this. So I would say it's a classical Ukrainian picture of a like small humble estate with a well painted white painted house and painted fence and so on. That's how it is here. And I think important part is that, which goes deep into Ukrainian psyche, about what people will tell, so because like our neighbors are just like you see the neighbor house here, so everything's pretty dense and pretty tight. And people have this, especially in the villages, they have this superstitions that they don't like gossip, they do like gossip, but they don't like when people gossip about them. And if you neglect some of your estate, people start like pointing you out, like why don't you care about this, so many things people in the rural areas do because or in spite of words of others, right? So they don't want to be the object of gossiping.
Great to gossip, but you don't want to be the subject of gossip.
Yeah.
But also, it must be a certain amount of pride. It can't just be done, to impress other people. There must be a high degree of pride in ownership of property as well, and that must be crucial.
I don't think there's any pride behind this, because in the villages most people live in their own houses. It's just like it's a rather self-respect to keep things tidy, to keep things clean and organized. that's basically it all about. Yeah, it's not like showing off.
No.
No, no.
It's just a self-respect, feeling
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
control
yeah.
and an agency in something. Strange question. I mean, do all the houses have indoor loos, electricity, and
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the,
yeah.
the supply, gas, that kind of stuff?
Like this city, this village has gas. Yeah, in Lviv, in Ukraine, no, 100% of villages have access to electricity, and most have a direct access to gas pipeline. Yeah.
And of course, one of the propaganda narratives is that Ukraine is a poor country, and Russia especially. That's really one of the why fight for Ukraine? Why support Ukraine? They're poor, they're corrupt, they're this and they're that. And we're out here in this village, and I'm seeing sophisticated, beautiful, well kept, clearly, I mean, not massively affluent, but comfortably off. Hundreds, thousands of houses. We haven't seen any that are derelict or half built and abandoned. Yeah, I mean, what would you say about that sort of propaganda?
Like I don't see the connection here. Like, so what do you mean? Like, if they're poor, you should not help them, or what? Like, first of all, I would not tell that Ukraine is poor.
First of all, I don't see
Yeah.
the sign of poverty, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's I can say that it's not wealthy and there is not much of like cash flow happening in the economy, but it's not poor in terms of people starving or everything is like fucked up. Sorry if I can use this word here or not. It's just it's not like the super developed fast economy, but at the same time most normal modern processes are functioning pretty well. Like in my village, for example, I can go and pay paperless, contactless with my mobile phone. There is internet, the road is well paved here. Every building is a decent construction with heating and electricity and everything. So it's normal. I would say like it definitely doesn't feel like a third world country. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's like in a lower range of Western countries, I would say. Yeah.
And comfort. There's a clear emphasis on comfort
Yeah.
and pleasure.
The standard of living here is the same as anywhere in the West, at least in this area that we are now.
Yeah. And you don't have to go to, dare I say it, the kolodets, the well, to go and bring up water.
Even though we have one, it's sealed. So we do have a pipe which goes into the house, yes.
Now, this village is famous for a particular resident who sadly passed away, the infamous Goose.
Yeah, our goose Gaga, she passed away a little bit over than a month ago. And she's actually the oldest goose in Ukraine. So she passed away when she was 39 years old. Basically, she's older than me. When I was born, she were already harvesting and working on this very yard. And she became kind of a symbol of our family because she outlived every resident in this estate. Yeah, and we were visiting her in her last days. In her last years, she were already blind. She barely could walk. So our neighbors, who are actually a Polish family that remained here since the pre-World War II times, they were just, taking her out of the place where she stayed, of the shelter, out on this place. She were walking during the day, and then she were brought her back. Yeah, but we were visiting her every week when we were coming here. Yeah.
And this isn't just locally famous. I mean, this made news headlines, right, when the goose
like,
passed away.
Absolutely. It was, once she passed away and I published this, because I was posting about my goose already like 2 years ago, that she is like probably the oldest, that I did all the research. I invited ornithologists here. We took the witnessing from the neighbors. Then there was a special commission in like the animal university, seating and researching all of this. So she's like recognized to be the oldest goose in Ukraine, and when she passed away, it like broke all the headlines. So basically in the prime time in the morning, there is a check-in about the frontline situation, and then there was like, and the goose died. So that's like how equally important news were that day.
And that we can't blame Mordor for the goose passing.
No. Or maybe she received too much stress of it. even though it feels very peaceful here in the village.
It's fresh air. We had a beautiful fresh lunch with, I think, locally sourced ingredients, fresh
Yeah.
taste, no chemicals. This is a beautiful place. I mean, I recommend people to come here, and if they want to really cleanse their souls after the war is over, I think this would be the ideal place to come.
Welcome, welcome.
Orest, thank you for showing me around your family holiday home.
See you around.